okay, now that we've talked about the problem, we can talk about the solutions. We'll also talk about the people who are putting these solutions into practice. All right, as I said before, the three problems are the government, the people, and the external world. If we focus on those, the solution is pretty much the same thing. It's the people. There's no way to fight it. The only ones who can keep the government in check are the people. The government is comprised of the people, and the external world is able to do what they are doing because the people either don't know or don't know how to stop it. So the solution at the end of it is only one thing, which is the people need to gain leverage, but I'll divide it into three. The people who lack awareness, the people need more information. We need more information. Number two, we are slaves to money. We are in a capitalist system. So at the end of the day, we are slaves to money. Number three, we need actual physical leverage, which is the things that should have been facilitated by the government are not. So if you ask anybody, why don't you protest? Why don't you participate in trying to improve the country? The answers are always the same. I have a family to feed and I have rent to pay. So at the end of the day, the things that the government are meant to facilitate are not being facilitated, and they need to be facilitated. It's that simple. Each of the three things that I mentioned, the people, the government, and the external world, try to facilitate these needs and rights of the people. But since we're in a corrupt system, all the attempts usually are swept away or stolen away. Let's go through how three of them try to facilitate the people's needs. Number one, the government should facilitate people's needs with taxes. That's what your taxes are meant for. That's what they are meant to be using your taxes to do, to improve your lives. Number two, the people themselves could be a source of facilitation, which is charities and churches. All the money donated to charities and churches are meant to be given back to the system, given back to the people. But since the system is messed up, churches and charities are used to scam for money. I'm not here to shake anybody's beliefs. If you think I'm lying or not, that's all right. This is just my perspective. Your perspective could be different. The external world, the way the external world tries to facilitate people's needs by sending aid. I'm sure everybody has heard about this before. Also, there are different types of people in each of these fields who are trying to facilitate needs or help people or facilitate people's rights. Examples are in the government section. I'll use Shehu Kuti as an example. He's trying to create the MOP party. The next one, in the masses, in the citizens. A good example would be VDM. He tries to help the people from not getting scammed and help them with things like learning skills in order to improve their lives. So by doing that, the money given to him through maybe his influence or charity donations are given back to the people, helping people. Other people, maybe Asha Kane. Like, these are two examples. When it comes to the outside world, there are not really a lot of people who try and do that. Even if the external world tries to do it, you know that the money is coming with an agenda, and this money is also being squandered because of the corrupt government. The activists that will be associated with this will just be content creators, people that create awareness, people that tell us about what is going on. For example, Unilever, Shell, just the different pieces of information of exploitation going on in the country or in any country or in Africa. All right, I think that's it. A lot of people don't believe that the needs of the citizens are meant to be facilitated. I don't understand why. You can actually Google the job of government and you see right there. Most of the things that they are tasked to do involve facilitating the rights and needs of the people. I think I'll go through that next. All right. I think that's all. Okay, in conclusion, the three things that need to be given to the people are information, which is awareness. We are slaves to money. I think I'll make a whole a video on that one separately. And the third one, leverage, which is facilitating the people's needs, which is just creating a charity that would help the people and not in a finite way, not in like giving them water or food because those finish. You have to create a domino effect. So if you solve this need, would lead to all the other needs being either easy to achieve or would trickle down to all the other needs. When I say we are slaves to money, it just means that based on the system we are in, which is a capitalistic slave ship, the solution to that would be achieving Muammar Gaddafi's dream, which with the technology we have today is not really absurd. All we have to do is create an application like a banking or saving app that would have a pot, like a saving pot, which transfers your money to a gold-backed cryptocurrency. A lot of people, when they hear cryptocurrency, they get scared because of Bitcoin and Dogecoin, but there are some coins called stable coins that if you put money into, it's not an investment. It mirrors a physical currency. For example, there's USDT, which if you put your money in that, the exact amount that you put, for example, if you have 100 USDT, is the exact same amount as having $100. So if an application was created with that express purpose, that is very easy to use, easy interface, that would essentially take us away from the system of saving our money in banks, which would kind of make us independent of inflation. If your money was tied to gold, you wouldn't really care what's happening to USD because people are scared of Naira being devalued. Let me give you an example. Before I started NYSC, I told a lot of friends that by the end of that year, which was 2022, that I'm foreseeing that Naira will get to at least 1,000, which it didn't get to that year. It got to it the next year. Right now, I think it's around 1,600 or something like that. But the money that I put, I converted it to USDT. And right now, dollar is about 1,600, something like that. But that effectively saved me from the devaluing of the Naira. If we could do that and put ourselves back on the gold standard, that would achieve Muammar Gaddafi's dream of having a unified African currency. All right, and the last one, the leverage, that's the third one I was talking about. We need to be able to facilitate the people's needs because the government, we cannot trust the government because the whole movement is called End Bad Governance. We cannot trust outsiders and their aid. Therefore, it has to come from inside. There are only two options, which are charities and churches. These days, churches are not to be trusted. People selling tickets to heaven, plots of land in heaven. So I think the solution is the charity. Currently, banks all over the world are allowed to use the money saved in their accounts. They only have to have, I think it's around 20 or 30% of the actual funds liquid with them. So most of the money is it to invest in people's businesses and also in real estate. So that gives them the power to buy properties in certain locations and control the prices there. So when people say rent is going up so high, it's your own money that's being used to do that to you. Therefore, if a charity can be created that can work in tandem with that application or the owner, or hopefully the person who creates the application will be linked with that charity, that money could be used to purchase apartments or houses or land, build on it and rent it out. And since it's a charity organization, it would be linked somehow with minimum wage. So let's say, for example, the amount that will be paid by anybody living in that house would be maybe, for example, 25% of minimum wage. So whatever minimum wage is yearly, 25% of that is the rent for that apartment. So people can have enough ease to know that they will never be homeless. And that 25% will probably be used for the utilities, or it will be used to continue the process. And also people can crowdfund to speed up this process. So there'll be a point where anybody, especially people that work regular minimum wage jobs, will be able to afford housing. So completely eradicates homelessness. We should also help with being able to afford other necessities. I don't think I've gone through all the needs. I'll go through all of them in the next video. But currently people are paying more than 70 to 80% of their income in housing. If that wasn't the case, for example, if they were paying maybe 25%, the rest of the money could be used to take care of their family, to provide for other needs like food, housing. I think the amount of depression, because most of depression comes from finances, comes from responsibilities that are hard to uphold. Therefore, if the focal point of the movement was, because back in the past, pretty much the whole of Nigeria was focused on reduce fuel. But the thing about that is if fuel went down, we will go back to the same system. Nothing really changes. We have not improved. Nigeria has not improved. Africa has not improved. If the solution was housing, that would give people enough leverage to be able to make demands or make sure that the needs and the rights of the people are facilitated. So it wouldn't be a government police, it will be do your job. I hope that makes sense.